Good morning, everyone. Last time we have discussed about the modern periodic table and the placement of the element in the periodic table. This time we are going to discuss about the periodic trend, and the first periodic trend which we are going to discuss is the atomic radius. So we are going to discuss about the atomic radius, how the atomic radius vary from left to right or from top to bottom. That means in the period as well as in the group. So we are starting with the period, that how the atomic radius vary through the period, that means moving from left to right. And here we are taking the example of the second group, that is the lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen and oxygen. So here we are going to discuss about the atomic radius and their trend in the periodic table. We are starting with lithium, having atomic number 3 and only one electron in the valence shell. And when you will talk about the force of attraction, the force of attraction F is proportional to Q1 Q2 according to Coulomb's law. Coulomb says that F equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught K Q1 Q2 by R square. From that equation you can take that F is proportional to Q1 Q2, where Q1 and Q2 are the two different charges. Here the first charge is the nuclear charge and the second charge is the electronic charge, that is the charge of an electron. When you will see the next species, that is the beryllium, having 4 electron in the in the 4 proton in the nucleus and 2 electrons in the valence shell, having atomic number 4. Surely with a greater number of protons in the nucleus, the greater effective nuclear charge will attract the electron with the greater force. And when the electron will be attracted with the greater force, surely the size of the atom will decrease down. So the size of beryllium is smaller than the size of lithium. The reason is the effective nuclear charge. Due to the greater effective nuclear charge, the size of beryllium is smaller than the size of the beryllium. Now when you will see the condition of the boron, having 5 protons in the nucleus and only 3 electrons in the valence shell, surely with the increasing nuclear charge the size is going to decrease. In the case of carbon, the size will be even smaller because the nuclear charge is going to increase further. Then it is the nitrogen and oxygen. The same conditions are going on. But when you will see the next factor, only nuclear charge is not working. When you will see the next factor, that is the inter-electronic repulsion. You can see the electrons are there in the valence shell. So surely these of the electrons will also repel each other. So when these of the electrons are providing repulsion to each other, surely that will act against the decrease in size. They will be responsible for increase in their atomic radius. So in this way the inter-electronic effects are also effective here. So here you can see that there is no any inter-electronic repulsion because only one electron is there in the valence shell. You can say that there must be some other electrons in the inner shell. So we are not going to discuss about that repulsion because that is common in all of these of the atoms. All of these of the atoms contains the inner shell and all of these of the atoms have only 2 electrons in the valence shell. So that is a common factor and we are not going to discuss about that common factor because that will act in all these of the cases. So when you will see in this case only one valence shell electron, so inter-electronic repulsion is nil if you are not considering the inner shell. When you will see the second one, there is a single electron which is providing the repulsion to the next one. So surely this repulsion is not as effective as that of the nuclear charge. In this case again the electrons are just scattered, they are not at any specific position, they are even in motion. But when you will take the condition of the nucleus is a point charge, that is behaving like a point charge, having greater number of protons, having greater value of the nuclear charge. So surely the nuclear charge becomes more effective than the inter-electronic repulsions, and this is the reason moving from left to right, moving from lithium to oxygen, the size is going to decrease. But when you will see the condition of the fluorine and oxygen, in these of the cases you can see that the size of the inter-electronic repulsion of the oxygen is much heavy. And because of that heavy inter-electronic repulsion, the size of oxygen is almost equal or a little lesser than the nitrogen. But when you will see the case of the fluorine, that is almost identical. Because of the greater inter-electronic repulsion, because of the greater number of electron in the valence shell, the fluorine have almost identical size as that of the oxygen. So when we move from left to right, the atomic radius decreases. Whatever the variation is there in the case of the fluorine, that will be considered as an exception, or that is not affecting the general trend of the system. So when we can say that when we move from left to right in a period, the atomic radius decreases. And what is the reason of that decrease? The increasing effective nuclear charge. Then due to the effective nuclear charge, due to increasing effective nuclear charge, the atomic radius of the atoms decreases, moving from left to right. But what happens when we move from top to bottom? Whether the radius increases or decreases. We are just discussing about those of the elements when we move from top to bottom. So we are discussing the group first, S block elements. When you will see the condition of the lithium having first shell and second shell. The first shell is containing 2 electrons and second shell is containing just 1 electron. So there are 2 layers, you can say there are 2 sheets, 2 orbitals. When you will see the condition of sodium, the first, second and third, there are 3 cells. Surely with the 3 cells there will be greater screening effect, or these of the 3 cells will generate a screening effect for each other. Due to the greater number of cells, the electronic repulsion will be more effective at that of the nuclear charge, and due to that reason the size of the sodium must be greater than the size of the lithium. Why? Because of the greater screening effect. In the case of potassium, you can see 2, 3, 4 cells are there. So with the increasing number of cells from top to bottom, the size is going to increase. We never discuss about that francium because that is a radioactive element. Now, when you will see the group 13, you will find that the size of aluminium is greater than the size of gallium. Even when you will see the sequence, it is the boron, then aluminium, gallium, indium and next one. So there must be the size of aluminium will be smaller than the size of gallium. Why the size of gallium is smaller than the size of aluminium? When you will see the condition of the aluminium and gallium, I am just trying to show with the help of the electronic configuration. When you will see the electronic configuration of aluminium, it is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2 and 3p1. That means there are 3 cells. The first cell is containing 2 electrons, second cell is containing 8 electrons and the final cell is containing 3 electrons. That means the valence cell is containing 3 electrons. But when you will see the condition of the gallium, the first cell containing 2 electrons, the second cell again containing 8 electrons, just like that of the aluminium. But when you will see the next one, this will be the 3s2, 3p6, then 4s2. But after the 4s, it will not be the 4p. What will be the next? It will be 3d. That means the next 10 electrons will come in the inner cell. And when these of the electrons will come in the inner cell, what happens? With the increasing number of electrons, the number of protons will also increase. And for these of the electrons which enters in the inner d subcell, what happens? For those of the electrons, the shielding effect decreases. If the electron was surviving in the valence shell, there was 1, 2, 3 shielding effect, 3 screening effect. But when the electron enters in the 3D, what happens? There are only 1 and 2 shielding effect. So for these of the electrons, the effective nuclear charge increases and the effective shielding effect decreases. And because of that reason, the size of the inner cell decreases. And with the decrease in the size of the inner cell, the size of the valence cell also decreases. This is the reason why the size of gallium becomes smaller than the size of the aluminum due to the greater effective nuclear charge and weak shielding effect in the case of the 3D subcell. It happens in almost all the elements from where 3D subcell is going to start or where the 4F subcell is going to start. But due to the smaller size, the aluminum gallium have this condition, that means the size of the gallium becomes smaller than the size of aluminum. But actually in other cases generally we find that the size remains greater, that means the lower elements have the greater size than the upper element, but the variation becomes negligible. That means the same effect works in almost all those of the elements, not almost all the elements, actually all the elements which are containing the 3D subcell, and this effect is due to the greater effective nuclear charge and lesser shielding effect. But when you will discuss in the general trend, when we move from top to bottom, the radius increases. We have discussed about the atomic radius, we have discussed that how the trend vary. But when you will discuss about the atomic radius, we must have to know that what type of the radiuses are there. Because sometimes you get confused when someone asks that which one have the greater size, whether it is the sodium or the neon or something like that. Because in the trend it is saying that when we move from left to right, the size decreases. According to that, you can say that the neon have the smaller size than the sodium. But sometimes you find that the value of the radius of neon is greater than the value of the radius of sodium. So just I am trying to explain that why these things are happening. Actually, when you will see the radius, there are three different type of the radius. The first one, when the atoms are bonded with the help of the covalent bond. Then in the case of covalent bond, what is the condition of the covalent bond? We say that the covalent bonds are made by the mutual sharing of the electron. And if the mutual sharing is taking place, that means there must be an overlap of the cells. And if the overlap of the cell is taking place, then in that overlap, the atoms will come closer to each other, and half of the distance in between two consecutive atoms, nucleus, is called the atomic radius. Then this is the R. And such type of the radius is called covalent radius. Then this is the covalent radius. Now, if the atoms are bonded with each other with the help of the metallic bond, you knew that in the case of the metallic bond, there is no overlap. And if there is no overlap, surely the nucleus will be a little away from each other with respect to that of the covalent system. And again, in the case, half of the distance in between these two consecutive atoms will be considered as radius, and this radius will be called metallic radius. When you will talk about the size, surely the metallic radius will be greater than the covalent radius, because in the case of the metallic radius there is no overlap, but in the case of the covalent there is a overlap which makes the radius smaller with respect to that of the metallic radius. But when you will see the condition of any van der Waals bonded atoms, that means when there is no any chemical bond, only the van der Waals forces are attracting each other. For example, the case of the inert gases, these of the gaseous atoms are not capable to make any bond. And if they are not making any bond, then whatever the force is working in between these of the atoms, that will be called the van der Waals force. So when the atoms are bonded with the van der Waals force, then half of the distance in between these two atoms will be called van der Waals radius. Surely you can see that the van der Waals radius is the largest among these three. So when you compare the radius, the sodium show the metallic radius, whereas the neon show the van der Waals radius, which actually can't be compared with each other. You can compare the metallic radius with the metallic radius and van der Waals radius with the van der Waals radius, But when you will see the reason why the variations in the atomic radius are taking place, that is due to this reason, because the neon is capable to show only van der Waals radius, whereas sodium show the metallic radius, and this is the reason why we find some variation in the case of these two. So it's enough for today. We will next discuss about the ionic radius and about the isoelectronic species. Till then, bye. Have a nice day.